When government spends more than it collects in taxes and needs money, it does not print its own money, but borrows from the Federal Reserve in exchange for U.S. bonds, which the Fed provides at interest. When people and corporations want money, they go to banks as well. The system is rigged. If a bank buys a $100 bond, the bank gets to lend out 10 times that amount, or $1,000. They created the extra funds from nothing. No money, gold, or anything to back it up. The bank also gets back the loans with interest for all the money lent. Money is created this way from the simple signature of a borrower with the promise to pay it back. And to make matters worse, very often people are paying the amount back many times over due to the interest. This is the process by which individuals, companies, and governments acquire money. It is respectably referred to as fractional reserve lending and is used globally by most other banking systems, keeping people and entire nations in perpetual debt.
As to how the Reserve Bank works, how absolutely deceitful the activities are. First of all, the banks make money out of thin air. When I say this, when you go to a bank and you apply for a loan, they don't have vaults of money that they take physical cash and give you a loan. They sit on a computer and they punch in a bunch of numbers on a computer and miraculously, magically just create money out of thin air. It's not backed by anything. This has not really been going on for hundreds of years. This really started with the establishment of the Federal Reserve System in 1913 on Jekyll Island. And when a group of very secretive, powerful individuals got together and set up the Federal Reserve System. This is about economic freedom. We've achieved our political freedom and the actions that followed, but we've never received our economic liberty. They're privately owned institutions. It answers to nobody.
Freedom is a spectrum with chattel slaves on the left and slave masters on the right. The foundation of the wage-slave relationship is the economic dependency of the slave on the master.
Yo, Federal Reserve, the economy seems to be making a solid comeback. Are you guys gonna stop printing money anytime soon? Bro, hell no. We still think that the economy could be a lot better, especially unemployment. So we're gonna keep buying $80 billion worth of treasury bonds every single month. It's basically the same thing as printing more money. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I'm low-key worried about inflation. My AP economics class taught me that if you increase the money supply, it could increase inflation. Aren't you guys concerned at all? Man, fuck AP Econ. We're not worried about inflation. Now chill the fuck out and enjoy your stimmy. Money printed, go brr.
This is the ugly truth about the Federal Reserve. There is nothing federal about them. A privately owned central banking cartel that runs the government. And they have been stealing your money for over 100 years. These are the real gangsters. They have absolutely no reserves. It's nothing backing the US dollar but trust. It was put together in secret on Jekyll Island by bankers and economic policymakers to only benefit the banks. The Federal Reserve Act was passed December 23, 1913, when most of the members of Congress were at home with their families for Christmas vacation. Woodrow Wilson agreed that if he was elected, he would sign the Federal Reserve Act in return for financial support. Then he regretted it. Not only that, the 16th Amendment was ratified, which permanently legalized income tax. Income tax was only needed to pay interest to the bankers for our money that they loaned to our government. They had the ability to loan money out of thin air whenever the government says they need more money. This increases debt, enslaving us for generations to come. President Kennedy tried to strip the Federal Reserve of its power with the signing of Executive Order 11110. Less than 5 months after signing that, he was assassinated. And I'll cover how him and Abraham Lincoln were assassinated for practically the same reason.
One of a president's most important appointments is chairman of the Federal Reserve. The Fed is the symbol of the integrity of our financial system. And the decisions of the Fed affects the lives and livelihoods of all Americans.
I think we're mysterious to people. I think they're not sure what we do.
The Fed is a sometimes very independent organization.
Every Federal Reserve chairman says one thing and does another.
It's a bunch of government workers trying to fix prices.
The Fed kept interest rates too low for too long.
When you take rates that low, you're going to have a boom, and a bust is likely to follow.
Some of us were writing back then, guys, this is absurd. This can't happen. It's going to end in tears.
So we failed to regulate the most important part of our financial system.
And I don't think any of us who've ever worked at the Fed take any comfort from the fact that somebody screwed up. But it's important we recognize there were some big mistakes made.
Let's go on to something else. Does the Federal Reserve actually possess all the gold that's listed on their balance sheet? Do they actually possess it?
Yes.
Has that been audited by the GAO?
I believe that's within the GAO's authority to audit. It certainly is something that our independent accountant is able to verify and does.
So if I go ahead and ask for GAO audit, you won't oppose it, right?
to auditing the presence of the gold on the facility, I don't see any reason to object to that.